At first glance, the Hyrax looks insignificant. Small, round-bodied, short-legged, with a blunt face and beady eyes, it resembles a rodent or an oversized guinea pig. It does not roar. It does not hunt. It does not dominate landscapes through force. Most people who see a Hyrax assume it is biologically simple. That assumption is wrong. The Hyrax is one of evolution's quiet jokes, a reminder that appearance means nothing without ancestry. Beneath its unremarkable exterior lies a lineage that connects it to some of the largest and most iconic mammals ever to walk the earth. Elephants, manatees. The Hyrax belongs to the same ancient group. This connection is not metaphorical. It is anatomical, genetic, and undeniable. Millions of years ago, the ancestors of Hyraxes were far larger than the animals we see today. Early members of this lineage occupied a range of ecological roles, from semi-aquatic grazers to large terrestrial browsers. Over time, environmental pressures fragmented these forms. Some lineages grew larger, becoming elephants. Others returned to water, becoming sirenians. One branch shrank, adapted to rocky terrain, and survived by doing the opposite of domination. It hid. Modern Hyraxes are specialists in stability. Their feet are uniquely adapted for life on rock faces. Instead of claws, they possess rubbery, moist pads that create suction. This allows them to cling to sheer stone surfaces with precision and confidence. A Hyrax can sprint across vertical rock walls that would defeat predators many times its size. Their teeth tell another part of the story. Hyrax incisors grow continuously, similar to rodents, but their structure more closely resembles tusks. In males, these incisors function as weapons in dominance displays and territorial disputes. This is not rodent behavior. It is a retained ancestral trait. Internally, the connections deepen. Hyraxes possess a complex, multi-chambered stomach designed for fermenting tough plant material, an adaptation shared with large herbivores. Their reproductive anatomy, gestation length, and certain skeletal features align more closely with elephants than with small mammals of similar size. Evolution does not erase history. It compresses it. Behaviorally, Hyraxes are far more complex than they appear. They live in tightly organized social groups, often centered around a dominant male. Within these groups, vocal communication plays a crucial role. Hyraxes produce a wide range of calls, alarm signals, contact calls, and social vocalizations that convey status and intent. Some species even sing. Male Hyrax songs are structured, sequential vocal displays that communicate dominance and identity. These songs vary between populations, suggesting localized variation, a primitive form of cultural differentiation. In a small mammal, this level of acoustic complexity is unexpected. But nothing about the Hyrax is accidental. Hyraxes are diurnal, relying on sun exposure to regulate body temperature. Unlike many mammals, they have limited ability to thermoregulate internally. This makes basking behavior essential. Groups often spread out across sunlit rocks in the morning, absorbing heat before becoming active. This vulnerability shapes their entire lifestyle. Predators are everywhere. Eagles, leopards, snakes, and large carnivores all target Hyraxes. Survival depends not on strength, but on awareness and positioning. One individual acts as a lookout while others feed. At the slightest alarm call, the entire group vanishes into crevices within seconds. Speed is not their advantage. Coordination is. Hyraxes feed primarily on grasses, leaves, and shoots. The digestive efficiency allows them to extract nutrients from low-quality vegetation. This enables survival in harsh, rocky environments where other herbivores cannot compete. They are not conquerors of ecosystems. They are fillers of gaps. In ecological terms, Hyraxes occupy niches that stabilize local plant communities and provide prey for higher predators. Remove them, and the balance shifts. Their presence maintains flow. Humans rarely notice this. Throughout history, Hyraxes have existed alongside human populations, often without conflict. They are not hunted extensively. They do not threaten crops at scale. They exist quietly, persistently, almost invisibly. This invisibility is their triumph. The Hyrax has survived not by expanding, but by refining. Not by overpowering, but by fitting perfectly into narrow spaces others ignore. In an evolutionary landscape obsessed with size and spectacle, the Hyrax chose precision. And it worked. Yet the story is not complete. Because to truly understand the Hyrax, one must confront the question it raises: how many assumptions about animals, and about intelligence, importance, and success, are based purely on appearance? The Hyrax forces us to look closer. The longer scientists observed the Hyrax, the more uncomfortable it became for old ideas about size, success, and evolutionary importance. This animal, so easily dismissed as a rock-dwelling oddity, carried within it a lineage that refused to fit into the neat boxes humans preferred. Hyraxes were not rodents, not rabbits, not some evolutionary footnote. They were survivors of an ancient African experiment, a living echo of a time when mammals were still negotiating their place in a planet reshaped by catastrophe. The true power of the Hyrax lies not in what it does loudly, but in what it does consistently. Day after day, generation after generation, it performs a delicate balancing act between energy conservation, social cooperation, and environmental awareness. Its metabolism runs low, its movements are deliberate, and its daily rhythms are tuned not to dominance but to endurance. In evolutionary terms, this is not weakness. It is restraint, and restraint is one of nature's most underrated weapons. In the rocky landscapes where Hyrax colonies persist, temperatures fluctuate violently between day and night. The Hyrax does not fight this instability, it absorbs it. Its physiology allows body temperature to drift slightly rather than remain rigidly regulated, reducing energy loss in an environment where food is limited and exposure is constant. This mild thermoregulatory flexibility mirrors traits found in much larger Afrotherian relatives, reinforcing the idea that Hyraxes are not evolutionary anomalies but miniaturized custodians of an ancient biological blueprint. Social life within a Hyrax colony is deceptively complex. What appears to be a simple group of animals basking on rocks is, in reality, a tightly managed social network governed by memory, recognition, and subtle power dynamics. Individuals know their place. Dominant males maintain control not through constant violence, but through presence, sound, and reputation. Conflicts are rare because the cost of injury is high and recovery in such exposed habitats is slow. Evolution has favored negotiation over escalation. Communication within these colonies goes far beyond simple alarm calls. Hyrax vocalizations are structured, layered, and context-dependent. Certain calls convey immediate danger, others reinforce social cohesion, and some appear to function as long-distance signals of territorial ownership. These vocal patterns are learned, not purely instinctive, meaning that young Hyraxes inherit not just genes, but acoustic traditions. In this way, culture, however primitive, exists even here, etched into sound rather than stone. Predation pressure shapes every moment of a Hyrax's life. Eagles scan from above, leopards move silently below, snakes lurk in crevices that look deceptively safe. Survival depends on vigilance, and vigilance depends on cooperation. Sentinel behavior is not optional, it is embedded into daily routine. A single warning cry can trigger a synchronized retreat, bodies vanishing into cracks that seem impossibly narrow. These escape routes are not random. They are memorized, rehearsed, and passed down across generations. Reproduction in Hyraxes reflects the same philosophy of calculated restraint. Gestation is unusually long for an animal of this size, resulting in offspring that are well developed at birth. Newborn Hyraxes open their eyes early, move confidently within days, and integrate quickly into the social structure. This reduces vulnerability and increases survival odds in an environment where infancy is the most dangerous phase of life. Evolution has traded quantity for preparedness. What truly elevates the Hyrax from curiosity to keystone is its ecological role. By feeding on grasses, leaves, and shrubs, Hyraxes subtly shape plant communities around their colonies. The droppings enrich thin soils, promoting vegetation growth in otherwise barren rocky zones. Over time, these microhabitats attract insects, birds, and smaller mammals, transforming isolated rock faces into islands of biodiversity. The Hyrax does not dominate its environment, it engineers it quietly. Human interaction with Hyraxes has historically oscillated between indifference and misunderstanding. In some regions, they were hunted for meat or viewed as pests. In others, they became creatures of myth, misidentified in ancient texts and folklore. Modern science has replaced myth with data, yet the Hyrax remains largely invisible in popular narratives. It lacks the charisma of predators, the grandeur of megafauna, and the novelty of extremes. And yet, it embodies something far more valuable: continuity. From an evolutionary perspective, Hyraxes represent stability in a world defined by change. While countless lineages rose and fell, adapted and vanished, the Hyrax refined rather than reinvented. Its basic body plan endured because it worked. This is evolution at its most conservative and most successful. Not a race toward complexity, but a commitment to balance. Climate change now poses challenges that even millions of years of resilience may struggle to absorb. Rising temperatures, habitat fragmentation, and human expansion threaten the rocky refuges Hyraxes depend on. Their low reproductive rate and strong site fidelity make rapid adaptation difficult. Conservation efforts rarely prioritize animals that are neither endangered icons nor obvious victims, yet the loss of the Hyrax would represent the erasure of an entire evolutionary chapter. To observe a Hyrax in the wild is to witness patience made flesh. It sits unmoving, eyes half closed, absorbing sunlight, listening to the wind, reading the terrain in ways humans no longer can. Every movement is measured. Every decision weighs risk against reward. There is no excess, no waste, no spectacle, just presence. The Hyrax does not challenge the world. It understands it, and that may be why it has endured while giants fell.